Rory. Go ahead, Rory.
Thank you, James. I wonder if you could try and put into words for us how good a day that was for England, please.
It doesn't get much better than that, I don't think. Losing the toss, being, asked to bowl, and then putting them in a performance like that, I think it doesn't get much better. And then the way the two guys played towards the end of the day with the bat was outstanding, and exactly what we've been talking about and asking for. Both with ball and the bat, we've displayed exactly what we wanted to do throughout this series today.
I mean, in the sort of history of great first days, it sort of goes back to Melbourne or Trent Bridge. I know you missed that latter one, but I mean, you can count the sort of days that go like that on one hand, can't you, in even a career you're on?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the only difference with Melbourne is I was keen to bowl there and I wasn't today for some reason. I was trying to tempt Joe into batting, but he was I think he was leaning towards a bowl, but we'll never know. So, it's taken out of our hands. We got asked to bowl. And then we just, we didn't know how the wicket was going to play. I thought it was going to be pretty good. It's probably a little bit quicker than we expected. And got a bit of swing early on as well, which always helps. And then, the way all the bowlers adjusted to the wicket, with the lengths that we bowled, the lines that we bowled, I thought was brilliant. And again, something that we've been talking about, trying to bowl as that unit, as a group. We just absolutely nailed it today.
Okay, who'd like to go next?
I can, Danny.
Yeah, go ahead.
Jimmy, you're obviously a former county teammate of Haas. I just wonder whether you could sort of give a sense of how pleased you are for the journey after he's been on to come back with a Test 50 today.
Yeah, absolutely delighted. Couldn't be happier for him. He's been since he's come back into the setup. You can see how much he's worked on his game, how much he's improved as a player. I think one thing he's always had is the right temperament for Test cricket, for international cricket. We saw that today in bucket loads. He was calm, he was measured. He had a game plan which he executed brilliantly. To see him play that way is something that we're not surprised by, because we've seen the way he's played for Notts. The last couple of seasons, and the way he's played when he's been around this group the last few months has been outstanding. So everyone's absolutely delighted for him.
That opening partnership generally provides real stability, doesn't it? It's one thing bowling them out, but the batters have backed it up as well.
Yeah, and definitely, something when you bowl someone out for less than 100, you're never quite sure whether you've bowled well or the wicket's actually not as good as you think it might be. So to see both sides bat on it and to see the way they both went about their business today, just felt so calm. Like in the dressing room, just felt really calm. Just seeing them the way they were, just so measured about the way they went about it. They were solid in defence. They left well, and then they put away the bad ball when they got one. I just thought it was brilliant Test match batting.
Okay, let's go to Stefan at the BBC and then John. Go ahead.
Hi, Jimmy. Well bowled. Is there anything that you do differently nowadays, personally, to what you did earlier in your career? So I think a couple of years ago, you talked about maybe dabbling in a vegan diet to keep you going longer. If not that, is there anything that you're doing at the moment to keep yourself performing at the level you are?
No, not really. I think, certain things have changed. I think as I've got older, I feel like I've got to work that little bit harder in the gym. I feel like I bowl less in practice and nets and try and save it for when it matters in the middle, apart from doing sort of bits of technical work. I think as long as my body's in really good shape, I think the biggest sort of test in Test cricket is mentally and keeping yourself switched on through games, making sure you can switch off outside of games when you're not bowling, but getting yourself up for bowling big spells and playing in big games. I think that is the biggest challenge, and for me, that's something that I've thankfully always had and got. And I think again, I've managed that well this week, having the few days off after Lords, that disappointment, after bowling 50 odd overs, and then managing to come here, making sure my recovery is really good, eating well, coming here and ready to go again a week later. That's been probably the biggest bit is that sort of the nutritional side and the recovery, making sure they're absolutely spot on so that I can keep going through a tough series.
On the subject of keeping the body healthy, you've talked about the toll that it's taken on you before, or even struggling to brush your teeth. Does fast bowling hurt any more or less than it used to?
Yeah, it still hurts, but I think you just, it's something that I've got used to. I've had injuries and niggles throughout my career, and you just find a way of putting up with it. You find a way of getting on with things. It's just part and parcel of the job. And walking off at Lords, I've been bowled 50 odd overs. Pretty much everything hurting, feet hurting. I think that just gives you so much satisfaction that you've put a shift in for your team, and that not far around the corner is an innings where you're just going to have to bowl 8 overs. So thankfully for me, that's today.
Thanks, Jimmy. Well done.
Cheers, Stefan. We'll go to John, please.
I was going to say, Jimmy, it's pretty unusual for you to open the bowling at the end of the completed innings. You conceded 6 runs.
Sorry, I missed that.
It's pretty unusual for you to open the bowling. By the time the innings is completed, you've conceded just 6 runs.
Yeah, unusual. But that's just, just shows how good a day we've had. I'd have taken it this morning for sure. I think Joe wanted me to bowl after lunch, which might have scuppered those figures, but I managed to talk him into bowling Craig from that end for a few more overs, which worked out for us. So just have to make the most of it while it lasts, to be honest. Because as I said, these days don't come, or as has been said before by Rory, these days don't come around very often. So you've got to just be happy when they do.
And the wicket of Cody, is that always extra special?
Yeah, I think so. I've talked about this before. We've had some great battles over the years. He's a fantastic player and someone you want to keep quiet as a team, especially in a 5-match series. If he gets going, then he can be very destructive. And I think the way we've bowled at him throughout this series has been really, really good. And we've just got to try and keep doing that. Try and keep him quiet as often as we can, because we know how. If he gets going, it could be a long series for us.
Okay, we'll do Lawrence and then one more after that. Go ahead, Lawrence.
Hi, Jimmy. Was there any discussion before the game about not getting involved in any sort of chit-chat with the Indian players after what happened at Lords?
Yeah, I think there was a bit of chat about that, yeah. We were we were just making a point of trying to focus on us and what we do well. I think that, the first 3 or 4 days at Lords, I thought we played brilliantly. We didn't really get involved in too much discussion, maybe until day three. And then after that, maybe just at times did affect us a little bit, or as individuals a little bit. So I think we have made a conscious effort of trying to just focus on us, what we do well, try and ignore everything else, the outside noise or whatever there might be going on, and just make sure there's a real focus on what we do.
Cheers.
Any more, please? Okay, I think
Brilliant.
Brilliant.
Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thanks.